What's going on is the Wolf, and we are back with another segment of Straight to the Point. And this is a special segment because I find myself joined by none other than a one only Miss Kionna Perry, who happens to be the founder and CEO of Illuminated Hearts Home Care. Kionna, how you feeling today?
I'm always feeling great.
Feeling good?
Yes.
That's good. Your energy is good. I can feel it. Like it's very vibrant, and I'm just feeling it. So talk to me. We sitting here. We at your establishment, one of your offices for Illuminated Hearts.
Yes.
Tell us about you, and then we'll get into the brand. So who is Kionna Perry?
Kionna Perry's entrepreneur, mom, philanthropist, wife, I don't know, community, community member, and I'm a servant leader. They say that's a boss. I just like to say I'm a servant
That's
leader.
what they say.
This is how I call it.
I'm feeling it. So out of all of the many hats you wear, which one right now would you say is your favorite? Or
I am I'm always challenged and always humbled and always in growth mode when it comes to my motherhood hat.
Yeah.
And I love being that auntie. I'm not gonna lie.
You want to get them and send them back.
My babies love me. I'm the one that spoils them. They like, why your aunt did that? Why she did that? I love that.
So you get to be the rich auntie and the mommy.
Ooh.
So
I like that.
So let's unpack. Let's go just back a little bit. Give us a little bit of backstory. Just tell us about your upbringing, where you're from. Some of the how you even got here.
Okay. So my family's from West Philly.
Gotcha.
Yep. So we're in West Philly.
Yep.
Illuminated Hearts. They are from Winfield. We're in Winfield.
Oh, so this is homegrown.
This kind of is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Mom and dad. But I grew up in Chester though.
Okay.
So grew up in Chester as an implant. C-Cry, shout out class 2000.
We'll leave that. Shout out to that class though.
Yeah, amazing childhood there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We had a lot of good experiences growing up, and I wound up going to school in New York though after that, and then after that it kind of wound up being I didn't stay in school. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, it led me into the real estate industry. And I wound up being in real estate from early 2000s. I'm still a licensed realtor. Y'all can Google that.
I actually did Google that because I was trying to do some research on you, and that was the first thing that popped up. 100%.
It's been around for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am. I don't really service the community in that way anymore.
Yeah.
But I am still licensed as a tool. I love that realtor hat. Plus, I'm a bit of a, housing or architecture enthusiast. So,
dope.
yeah. So, but anyway, I got into the home care industry in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, it is because of the events that I found, experienced homeowners going through as they aged in their homes. They were getting prematurely displaced into nursing homes when they really didn't need that level of care. They only really needed to be, have like assistance with their daily living needs or something like that. So because of that, I've seen a lot of people pledge their houses or put their houses up to the nursing home and have to move in there only to eventually run out of funding and have to get situated into like a family member's home or something like that, very, very prematurely. So as soon as I seen that the issues between healthcare and housing, especially in a down market, I had a lot of time to think about what was going on, what I wanted to do in my career. And I realized that this could be a thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So let's talk, right? You speak a lot about community, and but you said you had a good upbringing. Now, typically when people want to give back, it comes from a lack thereof. So how did you find your start into community give back, and why is this so heavy on your heart?
So that's it. I said I had a great childhood because it was, but I never said I had it all. Don't confuse the two.
Yeah.
We made do with what we had, and the lessons that I learned and the experiences that I learned, I'm always going to be grateful for that. But I definitely would say that I started to realize that there's a need to give back because I was always that child that wished I had more support in certain areas, and I felt like that could have boosted me or given me a little bit more of a catalyst in where I wanted to be in life. Nonetheless, God's got me here. But, but either way, if there was anything that I could do to help that person that I knew who I was back then, needing those things or needing support, that would have been,
So
I'd like to be that blessing.
So I want to unpack more of like, what was like some of the things in your childhood, whether it was like monumental moments, inspirational moments, down moments, things that you had to endure on your journey. Because for that person that's maybe a child that might be watching that don't know what life has in store for them, like, but we see where you ended up. But like, walk us through your childhood. Like, what was it like?
Well, that's interesting because I wouldn't say that, it wasn't always, easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have like, I wouldn't say that we had a lower middle class family growing up, but that still was kind of like poor.
when you think back on it, but in the time it's like, we got it, we cool.
We got a little bit better.
You said, all right?
Yeah, I had a 2-parent household. Like I was raised by my stepfather, but always knew my father, and everybody in my, father's side of the family. But my stepfather raised me with my mother, and they both worked. You know what I mean? They worked very hard. It was 5 of us, and I'm the second oldest. And I'm not gonna lie, I learned a lot when I was younger, a lot of what not to do by watching the people that was older than me. So that's one thing you can, if you say what some other kids might go through, y'all can learn what not to do. And be better off from your own personal experience. But anyway, we grew up and, we didn't have it all, but, I was always a big improviser. And, like there's one pivotal moment I can honestly say that I think, my stepfather is probably responsible for the entrepreneur spirit in me. And not because he was an entrepreneur and not because maybe I already had a little bit of it in me, because I did start my first company when I was about 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is a young entrepreneur.
Serious. I was serious too.
Yeah.
I was focused. I had a president. I was the president. I had a vice president, who was my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then I had a treasurer. She took care of all the money. Yeah. And then I had a secretary. She kept all the notes for all the ideas. Yeah. And all, the name of it, you ready for the name?
Yeah, talk to me.
It's real authentic.
We ready, come on.
It was called The Group.
That took a lot of effort. I know y'all was sitting there brainstorming that.
Listen, okay? That was very genius, and we came up with it all on our own.
The simplicity be the thing that stick though, right?
Listen, The Group was an official organization at that time.
So I need to know, what was y'all providing? Was y'all providing services?
Yes, we did. We did both. Actually.
Okay, so this is a full working operation.
It really was. And the genius behind it is that we actually did, the treasurer's mom was somebody that we entrusted to open a bank account for us because we made money.
Oh, yeah, really have?
No, seriously.
It's a real thing.
Yeah,
Get the LLC.
Now, also, a lesson learned is we got robbed. You know what I mean? We never seen our money.
Parents, your birthday money just come on this and all that.
I mean, seriously now. But we did services we provide. We shovel snow. Oh. Yeah, we cleaned the gutters in the streets, like our street gutters. How the leaves would get in. Yeah. We would clean. We did like bake sales. We would bake cookies and cakes and stuff. We would bake sales. Yeah. We would also do jewelry making, and we sold jewelry and stuff like that. And we made a lot of money. Like when it was snow days, man.
Y'all knew it was time.
It was money.
Yeah.
We did.
So how did y'all communicate? Because there was no technology back then.
Somebody's door. They knew what time it was.
As soon as it starts snowing, they already know.
Yeah.
Get my gloves ready. Get my hat straight. Yeah.
I was a bit of a tomboy back then too, so I really didn't care. Like I'm out here. Like what?
I think that's dope considering the time. Like my 8-year-old, literally every day with my goddaughter, she 9 now, they want to start a business. Yeah. So as you're talking, I'm like, yo, that's how they be on the phone, like talking about they want to do a lemonade stand, or they want to sell coffee, all this different stuff they just thinking. So the fact that you was doing it just gave me hope for their business.
Yes, absolutely.
But you spoke about your stepfather.
Yeah.
So you said your father was always there. So you had essentially 2 different male figures.
I did.
So Like, talk to me about that dynamic and how that helped you.
So why I say my stepfather is responsible for me becoming an entrepreneur full-fledged is because even though I had the group,
Literally.
but wait, I think the group might have been after that. It probably was actually. So this is what happened. He's a very militant man. Stepfather is high-ranking officer. He's a very militant man. Structure was a person, right?
Yeah.
So like
y'all up at $600 every
clean
day.
everything, baseboards, windows, every Saturday, like discipline, structure, I didn't complain about it. I respected him. I really, really, really loved that because I get a lot of my discipline from that.
Yeah.
But one thing happened. This really changed my whole perspective on things. Some people are like, oh, that's a shame, but I'm gonna tell you. Jack and Jill came around, everybody running to the truck. And I didn't have any money, you know what I mean? So I ran in the house and, I was like, I need like 25 cents for like a little popsicle or whatever. And he was like, don't ever ask anybody for money. People work hard for their money and you never know what they got going on in their lives. If you want money, you need to make money on your own. You need to learn how to earn money. He told me that.
And how old were you?
Over 25. I probably was like 7.
Oh, he was getting them lessons at young.
Seriously, which was true in a way, because some people, they live by the theme like, asking you shall receive, or if you don't, closed mouths don't get fed and all that. Yeah. From that point on, I mean, I didn't cry or anything like that. Everybody was going with their little dollar, with their little 50 cent and stuff. And I'm in a 2-parent household. These kids, some of these kids, they got their grandmoms and everything else. Yeah. But he said that to me, and I was like, okay. And I was like, all right, I got you. I understand. And I ain't cry about it, but I did find ways to earn money. And I never had a problem with it.
So do you think that lesson was more beneficial, or do you think that it created, an obstacle essentially? Now we know earning is never an obstacle, but just like the mindset of asking for money, like, do you feel like that created an obstacle? Like, you know what, I'm not relying on nobody to give me no money, or do you feel like it was like, nah, I'm gonna get my money, but I still gonna ask for yours too?
It depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
I think everything in life is about your perspective. Because to be honest, I could have said that and I could have felt like that and I could have felt very slighted.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't. I respected him as a person, and so I automatically felt like what he was telling me was information that I could use or that could benefit me, right? So basically, I didn't question that, it was, something that could be detrimental to me. I looked at it in a perspective where I felt like it's something that I need to know.
It was a tool.
Right.
You put it in your toolbox.
Yes, I did.
And now look at what it's done for you.
Yeah.
So with that dynamic of, because like they say, right, and this isn't a statistical fact or anything, but it's just rumored to be where it's like it's hard for a woman to love 2 men. So at a young age, having 2 father figures, was it hard to divide your love and to how to allocate it, or did it was just like, this my dad, this my stepdad?
Yeah. It wasn't. I guess I never really experienced that. Not really to that level or anything like that. Like, I never was confused about it. Like, I knew who my dad was. I knew that. I would come to Philly on the weekends, and this is so crazy to me because I would catch the bus and the train and another bus. And we would just come up here like this, because my grandma was here. There's a lot of family here.
Yeah.
So I would just come up here and like, oh mom, I got like a $2 or $2.45 or 45 cents for the transfer. By the time I did all that, I just called my mom when I get here. I tell my daughter stories like this, like I'm just traveling from
like 9 catching the bus.
Exactly. And I never thought about it because it was just a different dynamic. Like I felt like, the environment was different. What they gave me was different. I have a very unique relationship with my dad, and my real dad passed away. And thank you. And just a very different dynamic, but always knowing, who was who and how to be resourceful with them, like, because they both poured into me in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you know how to, you know what and who to draw from, like, and it shows up in your success because we was talking about Karen, you talked about like how you real good with systems and operations.
Yeah.
So I could see how having to do such a thing, even running the group,
Yeah.
at a young age, never letting that go. The group, but so let's talk about going in the teenage years. You said you went to college, FIT.
Yeah, I did.
When did you develop a passion for fashion?
Always, and it's something because my mom worked in retail, and she was like, she was a supervisor, and sometimes they were short staffed, and she'd be like, oh, let me come up here and help me something. I go up there, and she'd like, I'll give you $5, so I'm helping her like restock stuff and put stuff. And as I would be with her, I'd be finding little stuff that I like. And, it'd be a little retail shop. Wasn't nothing crazy. Wasn't nothing like designer. But it was always how you put stuff together.
Yeah, 100%.
But before I was interested, because I was a tomboy for the longest time. And then I got to about 14, I had a real big growth spurt and got tall, and then I started thinking, oh well, wait a minute, hold on, I might wear one of these dresses.
The model that came in
I might be cute, yeah, exactly. And so I just started doing, dressing and pairing stuff up. But she was always good at it, having style and being fashion. And it was very a woman that was very influential in my life with fashion. And she was my best friend's mom too. And she was fabulous. And she was like fierce too. She really had a bold personality. Like to this day, like she is absolutely.
Oh, she still got it.
Oh man, do she?
It never left her. Some things never leave.
Oh my goodness, and she's all that. So and it's so funny because I still look at her when she go out, and she still call me and stuff like that. So so that's how I kind of got interested in going to fashion school, thinking I would be a fashion professional, maybe not a designer, but just in the industry doing something.
Yeah.
So I went with the idea that I would be in the business industry of the fashion. I mean, the business part of the fashion industry.
World.
Yes.
Did it start in high school where it was like you already knew you was going to a fashion college? So did you go to like one of the schools that provide that type of program, or you went to a regular high school?
Well, no, I went to Chester High School.
So they ain't had no extracurricular.
No, nothing.
So you just held true to that vision. Then you enrolled.
It was so funny. My guidance counselor, I remember him. And he was like, "Oh, what schools you applying for?" And I was smart, but I didn't really feel like being, my sister was like valedictorian and all this stuff. Like I get A's, but I don't feel like it.
Like at the graduation, she the one with the thing.
Oh my God, everything. All the accolades.
They keep calling her name.
Yeah, and then you my little sister. Yeah, that's me. You know what I mean? But she was real. Like and it's funny because they all smart like that.
Yeah.
I'm smart if I'm interested.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Trust me.
It doesn't really. I'm not saying that kids don't do that at home. Always apply yourself.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could have did more. But I just was like, listen, this is the school that I'm going to go to.
Yeah, you chose your passion.
I did.
And it's funny because considering the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that wasn't like a trusted career.
Oh no.
Right? So did you get kickback for that from what?
Oh yeah. Like my family, like my stepdad, Mr. Militant, and my mom.
That's not real career.
No, it's nothing about it is real. Like first before that, I wanted to be a DJ. That wasn't real. They was like, listen, this is.
You can wear so many hats.
I'm like a very creative person, artsy and everything. But so no, seriously, they didn't understand what it is that I was interested in doing.
Yeah.
But my mom kind of was cool. Like she knew that, but it was out of state, so she kind of didn't really want to support it. But she was in retail, so she understood that certain positions in higher corporate retail required fashion industry training and degrees. So she did know that.
Yeah.
But she didn't know how I was going to think I was going to do this, and it was out of state, it was in New York. But I mean, like, if you're going to do fashion, then you need to be in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, nobody wants to hear me out. I'm just going to make this application on my own. I did all the paperwork. I filed for everything, and I got accepted, and then I went to orientation, by myself.
Yeah.
I was really self-motivated.
Yeah.
And it was like no plan B, because they were asking me, well, what's your plan B? I'm like, this is
what it is. So real quick, tell us about that experience in FIT.
that was, oh my gosh, wow. It was extremely, it was reality check because I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was a kid. Like I still needed support. And
Yeah.
even though I was ambitious, I didn't have like structure and I didn't have support.
Yeah.
My two-parent household, very hardworking, but they still had, I'm the second oldest, they still had other kids
that was behind you.
yeah, and even my older sister, she still needed some, help supportive too. But I'm like, oh no, I'm going out of state. I'm going to New York. I had dorm assignment and placement when I first got there, but 27th and 7th, I was right down the street from Madison Square Garden. That is a very, very difficult area to be housed in general. This student campus, I'm gonna say, had like 3 dorms and not really a lot. So my moving day, they didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have everything that I needed. I had some stuff. My dad didn't even know it was moving day because they were so busy. And I'm like, I ain't gonna get in their way. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
So I'm at the door downstairs and packing up all my stuff. And like, my dad was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to college. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, what? He called me around and said, do you know she's leaving to go to school today? And she was like, no, like she's leaving today, like today's the day. I'm like, yeah. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna take you. So he took me with this van and he didn't know nothing about the meal plan. Mind you, they never went to school.
Yeah.
Either one of them. They never went to school. Just hardworking career people. They never went to school. So they don't even really know the process.
Yeah, the process.
Like my older sister went, but she went down the street to Westchester. She didn't really go far and they didn't really,
Like it's a whole nother state.
Yeah. And then they thought I was playing when I said I got it. So I don't know what.
So y'all had her messed up.
Yeah, basically, like don't underestimate determination. That's all I gotta say. So I was there, but he dropped me off and he like, you okay? He gave me like $50 and was like,
which was a fortune back then, kind of.
I was so grateful. Like he didn't want to give me a quarter. Now he done gave me $50. I was like, oh my god.
He gave you an advance.
Right, exactly. So
don't call me for a month.
I was grateful.
Yeah.
And I gave him a hug and I had a meal plan set up. I had my dorm set up, and then I had my financial aid set up pretty much, and then I still had like some incidental stuff, but I didn't have everything. Like I said, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah. And
it was a hard reality because after that, you got to find housing because you can't stay there for consecutive.
Eventually.
Right.
And we're gonna unpack because you got the trunk party coming up on August 4th.
Yes.
But and I'm pretty sure it's associating the text to that. But I want to stay in the timeline. So you ended up not finishing, right?
I did because what happened was it was too difficult. They put your name in a lottery to offer you housing after that one semester, and you're in New York City, right? We're talking about the city.
New York City, the city that never sleeps.
Right, and I found housing in Queens, like for an apartment I rented with, a roommate. But it was still very difficult for me to pay that rent. Like I was paying like $1,100 for a room, and that was back then. And then I gotta go to school, and then I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was tough. Like like when I say how was New York? New York was hard, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Still New York.
Had a great time. Yeah. I was in New York when the dynasty,
Oh, but so you was outside a little bit. All right.
Outside.
So, all right, real quick. So, how was it coming back? Because I want to get into your real estate journey real quick. But you came home. I'm pretty sure your family already had any reservations. Did you feel any kickback from them or any sense of like defeat from yourself? Felt like it didn't work out?
I mean, yes, I did a little bit. But the thing that I'm the type of person that I'm very optimistic. I like to see the bright side.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is I did feel defeated. So I felt like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I had friends up there, their moms was taking care of them and everything, and I just didn't have that. You know what I mean? So I was like, dang.
Won't that expose you to how you really grew up?
Yeah,
after we had it.
I was middle class. Yeah. Okay, you know what I mean? But when I did come back, I didn't feel like I missed it. So I knew that something about it was time for me to go.
That's real.
But what I did find out and how I segued into real estate is when I started looking for apartments and for rooms, I started looking at what was going on. I was like, I'm in the wrong business.
She showed me $1,100 for a room.
I was like,
I'm in the wrong business.
I was like, okay, just So then I started studying
So
real estate.
did your parents, you being back home, you close, it's because technology wasn't around for like that. So you back in a space that they probably feel like it's safe and you're doing real estate. Do they support this journey?
So I was still, I came back, and to be honest with you, I was pretty much still independent mindset. I found a place back home in my own.
Because you like, if I can find it out here, I know I can find it out home.
Yeah, exactly. So I was pretty independent. Like I just, I was always, striving to really have something. You know what I mean, and to do something. So they were like, okay, well, you'll figure it out.
At this point, you gained their trust.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they were okay with it, but at the same time, watching me with the side eye, like, just go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's always like that.
My dad, go get a job. I'm like.
Yeah. So let's talk. All right, you got into real estate. So I'm gonna assume here.
Yes.
From real estate, you got here.
Yes.
So all right. So let. I know we don't got to go all into the real estate transition, but what opened your heart?
Yeah.
To home care, like want to give back in that way.
I was always a real like the seniors always have had a sweet spot in my heart, because when I tell you them weekends coming up here to see my dad, I would spend a lot of time with my grandmother, and she was like, "That is my
one thing Dad's gonna do." With them
exactly. But she was like everything. Like she was all like just the most loving, nurturing person you would ever meet, and I always had a sweet spot for seniors.
Yeah.
So that was a thing for me. I used to always say, "Oh, at some point I want to do something for the seniors. I want to give back to the seniors." Yeah. And I would like have girlfriends and friends and stuff like that, and I would always be cool with their grandparents and their moms and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So it wasn't innate. It was definitely innate. But seeing when the bottom of the market came in real estate and I was in it, I had to help my grandmother and several other seniors that I was referred to reposition their loans and reposition themselves in their homes so they would not get put out of their homes, and then so they wouldn't also have to give their homes out and move out prematurely. Yeah. When that happened and I realized that healthcare and housing was a direct correlation, a light bulb went off and said to me, like, there's something here. If these people could just stay in their homes and get help, that would be the answer to this, and they wouldn't have to be displaced prematurely. Because it's statistically a fact that when they're in nursing facilities or any kind of facilities, they don't do very well. Yeah. And then they can also outspend. So that's also a thing where they could wind up being not necessarily homeless, but they have to be displaced again. Yeah. So I called my partner. This is my real estate partner, who I do a lot of deals with here and there. He's in pharma and coincidentally in the medical industry too, his background. And I was like, listen, I see this trend. Like I did this one restructuring for somebody, then they sent me to somebody else, and then they sent me. And I'm like, this is a lot. It's a lot because they're seniors. Something's going on here. So he was like, well, think about it. Let me know what you think. Meantime, I'm struggling because the market is down. So I'm doing leasing. Single mom at this point, so I'm raising my daughter, and I'm trying to put two and two together. So it took me a few years to really get the information, but when I turned around and realized that all my sisters were in nursing and the medical, and then my partner was in pharma, and I really had all the pieces, I just had to put it
looked like they went off to school to get you, like you had to get your timeline right, but they was over there preparing to get ready to come under you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how things line
up, right? So why Illuminated Hearts? And when I say why Illuminated Hearts, of course I'm talking about the name. Like, the name. What does it mean?
The name means to me hearts of light, and hearts of light that can illuminate others. So it's not just a job that, I want to be out here in home care because it's, whatever, y'all can finish ... But to me, it's having a heart of light to be able to give that to others in need, because these people, a lot of times, they're down. You have people who have issues with companionship. You have people who are depressed because they have physical limitations that are really impacting them because they're not used to not being independent. Yeah. So all it takes is a heart of light to uplift their spirits 100%. In general. When you working from that space, it's nothing that you can't do to bring up, the world. And I just feel like that. I feel like it's important to offer a heart of light to somebody, lightheartedness. And I think that's impactful.
So I know you said we put the ... but I want you to tell us, if you had to, what would be some extensions of Illuminated Heart that that you might think about?
Doing? You mean?
Yeah, doing like
other roles?
yeah, like if it's not, of course, like something that's like you ain't ready to announce yet.
Oh no, it's totally fine. I mean, like, so from this vantage point, I honestly see more than I did when I was interested in originally solving this problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're seeing other problems.
Yeah, I see other issues that are going on.
Mhm.
I see that there is a very strong need still housing and healthcare being connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in this city where we are, Philadelphia, there's a lot of housing insecurities
Yeah.
with older people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that that's definitely an area, a problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah.
I like to consider me to be presenting a service to the community and solving something
Yeah,
that needs
yeah.
to be resolved.
Yeah.
It's not all about the money. I'm a very conscious capitalist.
I want the money, but I know what it's for.
I want to do well,
Yeah.
but I also want to do good.
Yeah, no,
for people.
that's a good. Say that one more time.
Yeah.
I want to do well.
I want to do well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I want to do good
Yeah,
for
no,
other people, and I think
I love that.
that's you living your market. It should be about something other than just you making.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's talk about some of the struggles you faced in the home care industry, because most people see it and it looks sexy on the outside.
Yeah.
And then they get in there, because like we know that it's thousands of licensed home care industry in the industry, but not all of them are functioning and they're not really acquiring participants.
Right.
So from your vantage point and your experience, almost being in it a decade,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you've seen in the transition, the pitfalls, the peaks?
Yeah.
What's coming?
Okay. Oh wow. We'll have a long time, so I'm gonna
give us what you could. Give us what you could.
So one of the things that I want to say is that we are. I'm a minority provider, and we are also a small business. We're designated minority, woman-owned, and small business. We automatically have a lot of challenges for those designations alone.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. One of the main things that I think is an issue is that, you know, people really are interested in this industry, but they don't have business acumen. And this industry is very highly regulated. And there's a lot of things that, you know, can really hurt you in moving into, you know, obtaining credentialing or doing certain things that you need to do without having those business acumen or business skills.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things I think is the industry in general has it changes all the time, right? It has changes come all the time. Like for example, we came in this business. There was no such thing in Pennsylvania as a managed care organization at the point where we got into this business.
So is that what MCO stands for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they acronym everything.
Yeah. Managed care. Or not MCO.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that was a whole pivotal moment in our industry where we had to change and really figure out how that works without a lot of guidance, without a lot of support.
So prior to the MCOs, how were y'all getting the funding?
Well, MCOs aren't the funders. The state and the federal government is the
Always
funder.
the funders, but they just
MCOs are it's like an insurance that they put in place to distribute.
Because before they used to have your own service coordinators, or people could do that.
Well, Pennsylvania just handled the money themselves. Like they handled the funding themselves without any intermediary insurance plan or any kind of, you know, it's basically like an insurance for Medicaid is the funder, but the insurance companies, the MCOs, they come in and they have like a specific program set up with Pennsylvania to distribute that and manage it. That's why it's managed care.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think it was simpler and easier before? Or do you
I mean,
think
it had its hiccups before because I don't think it was very streamlined, but I also feel like the MCOs being involved have a whole additional set of challenges on their own, and they really aren't seeing providers as partners in this business, and that's a conflict.
So what are you seeing them as?
Just not really respecting providers in this industry, especially not smaller providers.
Yeah.
You know, they just want to deal with the least amount of you know, some people just want to take the least amount of I would say conflict or issue. They want to go with a bigger provider, so they just don't have to deal with working as hard. They just got one company that they deal with, or two or whatever, and they're large. But a lot of times the larger providers have more issues than we have because they have more people and it's
Yeah.
more responsibility
Yeah.
and they have more opportunity to drop the ball
Yeah,
or stuff
yeah,
to slip between
yeah.
the cracks.
Yeah.
And even though they consider them to be, making the revenue or whatever, and really having, the volume, like I said, providing that much care for that many people.
It could be a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
So what is your favorite part in home care, and what is your least favorite part?
My favorite part is dealing with the people.
Yeah.
Like when if I call somebody, I still have, next year is 10 years for us.
Yeah.
So it's still people on my roster. We do not have a high turnover that I enrolled myself. Like,
when you was recruiting.
Yo, okay,
Yeah.
they know me, and they will only call me if something's going on.
Because they know you. They're like, I want to talk to Kionna.
Yes,
I don't
they
want to talk
do.
to nobody
They
else.
do. I don't want to talk to nobody else. Who is this? I can't
Yeah, we grew with the company.
I'll call you back.
I'm seeing you there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So seeing the people and working with the people and me being able to, help them through whatever they're going through and make their day or their life different, or to help their family to know that their family is working with them, and to be able to provide, employment and everything. It just shows me that we are impacting people's lives directly.
Yeah.
And that is what lights my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Illuminates your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what illuminates my heart. And then, if we can't, sometimes we don't always have what it takes, because some people get progressive in their ailments and they have to be placed, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Just making sure that we make a smooth transition for them and just being supportive of them.
Yeah.
That's
So they
really
people,
thing.
and I think that so many people on the back end of the business just see the numbers.
Yeah.
But when you actually in the field and you meet the people,
And love the
you
people.
start loving them. You like, this like my grandma.
It is.
My grandpa.
Oh, it is.
So much wisdom, so
It
much
is.
knowledge, and you realize that it's inevitable that at some points everybody's gonna need
Yeah.
that assistance.
If we're lucky.
If you,
If you lucky.
because it's a blessing
It's
to
a
even
blessing
get to
to
that
even
point.
get to that point.
Talk
I'm
about
trying
it.
to explain that, yeah.
So I know we heavy positive minded, but I still want to. What's the ugly side that you
The
just?
ugly side is, the challenges that we face with the powers that be, the MCOs the governing bodies. Let me just put it to you like that.
Yeah, makes
the
sense.
governing bodies that actually are, facilitating and these programs and working, to try to get these funds out to the community I don't feel like are in touch what the providers need, and a lot of times with the care portion of it.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, everything is just kind of regimented. It's just kind of, just the way that they go about doing things. And I can go into detail about it, but it is frustrating when you feel like you don't have a voice or a seat at the table to really make sure that they understand.
Yeah.
Or if they just don't really care to communicate with the smaller provider because they feel like, the revenues or the numbers are, the volume is with the larger provider, so we got to make sure that
they're accommodating to them.
Right. Instead of working with the people who are
grassroots
out here in the community.
So what do you think the solution, because your solution is, what would the solution be to gain their attention to create that change?
That's a good question. And I'm glad you asked it. Because usually when people say that's a good question, they don't know. But I got an idea.
She said, I'm not buying time. I really got the answer.
No, so what I envision happening is at some point, first and foremost, they would have to be open. Because really they hold all the cards in Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? So they hold all the cards.
And they know it.
And they do know it. And I don't think that's fair to anybody that's involved, because they're in the value chain of how this thing works. Everybody has their place and position. So holding all the cards is one thing, but I do feel like you need to value the other positions and those that, see this thing all the way through. But one of the things that I do think would be very, very helpful in our community is for the minority and smaller businesses to have more of a united front and come together as, a coalition and really try to stand together on issues that we face, and just really be able to, have a seat at the table with representation and with structure and organization to make sure that we are represented in our concerns as smaller minority or, women-owned, whatever designation it is, businesses, because I don't think that that's really done here. I mean, you have some organizations and they're huge,
Yeah.
and they're not really small business focused. Or
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah. They
minority
just focus
business
on
focused.
the
Yeah.
masses.
Right. And because we don't have that, it's like, well, you know, who's representing this?
Yeah.
Who's representing this?
Because it's like a modern day civil rights movement,
Right,
essentially. Like,
right,
kind
right. Well, this is our industry.
Yeah.
And there's no industry without, you know, organizations that stand up for or representation or lobbyists or anything like that.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, that's been, next year is a decade, and I am very focused on quality. We have extremely high, accreditation. I mean, what's it called? Y'all might have heard of it. But I mean, we have extremely high compliance. That's what I'm going to say. Compliance. We have extremely high compliance, and we do very, very well in what we do. But it's still overlooked because we have a lot of larger competitors that are in the market, and that's all they see.
Yeah.
But our concerns are real concerns.
Yeah.
So we still need to be heard. And I think that if other business owners that of our size and, you know, diversity business owners get together, I think that would be strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever heard the quote? They say the power of the people is more influential than the people in power.
Yes, it's true.
So it's like, if you could create that coalition, get them numbers, y'all now have the same reach as the would-be bigger companies.
Yeah.
And y'all have more, and I say we because we're all a part of that minority group.
Right.
We have more reach in that regard because it's like you grassrooted, you see what's going on day to day, you're not disconnected. And now you got the numbers to show, look, we have an impact in this industry.
Strong impact.
And y'all need to value what we have to say because we can prevent sad problems. Like,
and we can also empower you to make your, required, quotas and things that you have, because they have somebody to answer to too.
Well, right.
Right. They have to answer to the state and the federal government.
Because they want to know what is going on.
Oh yeah.
That make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So staying in this realm, right? Everybody know that if you do it right and you have a love for it, you can be doing well.
Yeah.
So, but within you're doing well now, within doing good, you always giving back to the community. Like I seen y'all just did the baby shower.
Yes.
And I want to unpack that. But we got the trunk party coming up.
Yes, the trunk party. So I always, so hear me out. I feel like businesses that are in the community need to support the community. And that's all. I'm just saying, because if you are a business in the community and you've been in the community and you are making money in the community and you have, patrons in the community, you need to figure out how you can serve that community. Because if not, you're just exploiting that community. And that's my thing. You understand what I'm 100%. Saying? I'm in a community, like you said, some of these people are friends of extended friends of mine who enroll in home care services with direct referrals and things like this. I help employ their families. One of their kids is going to school. I was a kid that went to school. They drive me over $50.
And said, figure it out.
And I was happy about that.
Did you have a cell phone? Because if a cell phone was out back then, like...
Listen, don't try to ask me how old I am.
No. All right, that's a good. You just strike that for the record. So basically, I'm asking because I don't want to go all the way back to the college days, but I'm just thinking about the resources and how are we communicating?
Yeah,
I know
right. To keep it 100%, no, we did not. Not at that time.
Yeah.
In maybe a couple months a couple months in the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a cell phone at that point. I bought myself though. I signed up for Sprint.
Everything since the group, she has been getting it done. All right, so cell phones aside. Let's fast forward back to where we at, whatever the case may be, because the trunk party is August 4th.
Yes.
It's from 2 to 6. Mm-hmm. It's at the Urban Art Gallery, 262 South 52nd Street.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I got it.
Yep.
And they giving away all of these dorm room essentials, and it's everything you could think about, from toiletries to bedding.
Yep.
To they even got some special giveaway. They giving away laundry detergent stuff too, so they go wash your clothes. But they got special giveaways that's full dome makeovers, Keurigs for coffee lovers, and headboards and fans.
We have a laptop that we're giving away.
Laptop.
We have a laptop that we're giving away. We do have what's the name of those things? We have electric teapots. They have TVs that they're giving away. They have comforter sets too. So it's a lot of essentials, like stuff that you don't really know you need. But when you go in and start a life of your own,
100%.
You gotta have,
even something as simple as you're giving away Lysol.
Yes.
Like you know, when you move into your apartment, you realize like I gotta buy a shower curtain, I gotta buy the freaking toilet cover, like things that you never thought about when
Yeah.
you're living with somebody else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you are positioning them to have the things that they wouldn't have thought they needed.
Essential.
Essential stuff.
Essential.
So the trunk party, is this the first one?
This is the first one, but it will not be the last.
So this one is August 4th.
Yes.
But it's something that you plan on doing because you said something that was key, just giving back into the community that you're receiving from.
That's right.
And I do want to explore that baby shower idea.
Yeah.
What was that about? Before I can't let you go without asking. Like, it looked dope. I seen you had partnered up with Freeway, and
Yeah.
y'all was the expecting mother was able to come and get some essentials.
Yes.
So where did that idea and concept come from?
That's a good idea. There's my office manager here. She's about to bust any second now.
No,
She is about
so by the time this come out, the baby is here. Congratulations.
Yes, it'll be my new nephew.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was pregnant, and we were trying to find a way we could give back around Mother's Day and what we can do, because like I said, we are very, very prone to philanthropy and just really doing what we can in the community.
Yeah.
She's an expected mother, and then I realized like a lot of times we employ a lot of expected mothers that are single mothers that are out here really trying to raise their kids and just really do what they can do to be, supporting them.
Yeah.
And I said, well, they're directly connected to what we do.
Yeah.
Whether we think about it like that or not. I mean, I know we service, seniors and people with physical disabilities, intellectual disabilities, things like that. But the single mothers are the ones a lot of times that work for us, or mothers in need, or people who are working in that level of care.
At the ground.
Right, and these are entry level positions, or some of them carry these positions for a long time, and this is all the work that they know. So these are careers that would put somebody in a position where they actually do need help.
Yeah.
And we hire them. These are people that work for us. Like, we didn't say, hey, anybody that works for us, come here. We said community, anybody that's working in general.
Yeah.
And you need these services, or you could use this help,
So I'm noticing that everything that y'all do is like an open invitation. It's not like a closed off exclusive thing. All they gotta do is register.
Yeah.
Right? So for the trunk party that's going down on August the 4th from 2 to 6, all they gotta do is register. If you watching this, just go to Illuminated Heart's home care page.
Yeah.
Comment the word register in the DM or on any post that they put up.
Yeah.
And you'll be forwarded all of the information to be able to be a part of this. Like you said, it won't be the last. So my final question to you is, what can we expect from Kionna Perry for the next foreseeable future? I don't even put a time frame. Like, what's to come? What's to come with you?
Well, I would say that we are very excited to continue to provide excellent care in the community. You can expect to see us grow bigger in Illuminated Hearts and be more active in the community and doing more events. We have something coming up next year. We have a college tour coming up. We did one last fall.
HBCU
college tour. We have another one coming up in the spring again in 2025. There's also something very special. I'm very big with kids. I love that. So our philanthropy side is going to get massive. It's going to get massive. And then you can also expect that we will reach out in other areas of healthcare that we see connected to what we already do, and expanding in those areas as well.
Like middle transportation, any of that type of stuff? Or
well, I would first, my background is in housing, so I would first be exploring more housing, and I'm thinking more independent living. And just really being able to work with seniors and people with disabilities and having different type of subsidies for housing, because that's very important. They can't really afford certain things. So I'm thinking housing is a big thing for me right now. I'm excited about that.
You just tying all of your hats from the group then to the stuff you learn the FIT, the experience of becoming more independent, to getting the real estate, to getting into home care, and now it's just creating this conglomerate of excellence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about partnering with other diverse businesses in the community to get it done.
Yeah, and this brief stint of just working with you, I've seen like how instrumental you are working with you. Like, I want to work with a minority business. I want to work with a small business. So like you that's something I can tell you're extremely passionate about, is reaching the people that's trying to grow that look like us.
That's right.
So I want to give you your flowers for that because it's like some people get into business and then some people love and it's a life for them. And I feel like for you, this is like life, and it's like you are exploring every different area and which way that you can be giving out care, not just in their home care, just like you're just showing. So shout out to you, shout out to Illuminated Hearts.
Thank you.
Let everybody know where they can find you at. We know the business page is Illuminated Hearts Home Care, but
It
where can they
is.
find
On
you?
Instagram, it's Illuminated Hearts Home Care. We are in West Philadelphia. Don't say that.
Dang, I'm telling you.
Every time I say something, they always sing the song.
You got me.
Like, okay, but yes, we are in Winfield, West Philadelphia. Our site location is 2231 Bryn Mawr Avenue, right around the corner from the Produce Junction, Winfield and Bryn Mawr corner. So if you feel like you know someone who may need services or may have questions about enrolling in home care services, if you're a loved one that's interested for your family member, give us a call. I mean, there's no obligation. We can give you information. We can help you, find the right resources that are for you. If you feel like you may need a part-time job or this is something that you're passionate about and you've always wanted to, do some work in the community with people who may be disabled, call us up. Let's see. We do have an extremely competent team that can help you get started. We also have really good benefits for our staff because we do care about the staff that works for us as well. So call us 215-921-6624, 215-921-6624, and you can feel free to send us an email at info@care, CARE4FORPA.com. I care for PA.
So, y'all heard it here. Exclusive episode, straight to the point, with the one and only Miss Kionna Perry, the CEO and founder of Illuminated Hearts Home Care, and just a huge person in the community, and just like giving back. And that's why we got the college trunk party coming up. And just stay tuned for everything else that she got coming up. And you already know what I'm saying. The wolf has spoken. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon. Let's get it.